Hi, my name is David Hauser. Welcome to this edition of Future Life, where I'm here to be your guide to love. Today, I want to talk about the history of romance. Acknowledging love through the sharing of tokens or hearts dates back to medieval times, not just on Facebook. But the modern celebration starts in the 18th century when marriage and the notion of romance became a popular desire. Romance, or Roman manner, changed its meaning to reflect the new language of love as Latin transformed into French, English, and Italian. Romance itself certainly has its own lexicon expressed outside of words between couples in love. Discovering the romantic language and its emotional meaning between two people really took root then. Men who were mindful of women's feelings created the primary reason for our current romantic era. And I have to say, it's a very beautiful one if we allow it to be that way. During the patriarchal era, for over 10,000 years, women were captured and not by choice bounded to a man as property. When tribes had a scarcity of nubile women, their young men were just set out to raid other villages for wives. Throughout much of history, it was considered weakness to be romantic. Romantic men were not put in the same league as alpha males. And social norms were used to dominate females, making them feel weak. Romance was kept under wraps inside a man's heart, or, he would be, chastised for being that sensitive guy. Medieval chivalry holds a lot of today's modern courting rituals, like opening doors or buying dinner for a woman. Arranged marriages during medieval times still was swayed by love and relationship, but it was not considered a prerequisite in matrimonial decisions. Serenades, poetry, and flowers, all part of a suitor's woo. But the legal right to propose marriage for women didn't happen until 1228 in Scotland, but fortunately it spread around the world. Courting became more formal in the Victorian age, and marriage an art form among the upper class. Gentlemen needed an introduction to meet a woman of interest. Even after being introduced, a gentleman would have to abide by steadfast rules. Acknowledging a woman's refinement was one, and presenting her with a card like the other suitors put him in line for a date. He would have to earn the right to have a conversation under the watchful eyes of parents, and being granted a stay on the front porch or a walk in the garden would take a lot of integrity. Smitten couples rarely saw each other without the presence of a chaperone, and marriage proposals were frequently written. Romance novels also took hold during the Victorian age and really flourished in the Edwardian. Women wanted to experience this type of love, the ones they were reading in the Jane Austen novels, such as Sense and Sensibility or Pride and Prejudice or Emma. Men began to pick up on it as a way to get into a woman's heart. The dreams of those novels would become the reality in young women's lives. Men's etiquette kept these romantic intentions at a very high standard. Standing up when a woman entered a room, assist a lady when she sits or stands from a chair, retrieve a dropped item, or help a lady with her coat on, just to name a few. So ingrained in the male psyche, some men still follow these without prior knowledge of where it came from. The 1800s also matched food and drink associated with the world's most romantic day, February 14th. So little was actually known about St. Valentine that the Catholic Church actually took him off their calendar at one time. It wasn't until his legend spread about defying the orders of Emperor Claudius, he became popular. And later, the people recognized just how important he was. Claudius's army could only contain single men, so when Saint Valentine would save these men by marrying them off, he became a target for death himself. Over 200 years after his execution on February 14th, 270, Pope Gelasius made Valentine's Day inadvertently a celebration of romantic love. It has become one of the most commercially exploited days of the year, along with Christmas, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. In the 1900s, dating became a national pastime. Men had to really step up and show a woman his worthiness, education, good breeding, and commitment to religion and country. No one went out in public without showing their best foot forward to honor not only themselves, but to make the woman in their life proud. Hollywood made countless movies portraying the romantic notions of coupling. But after World War II, money started to flow around the world, and the next thing to flow was making a diamond a girl's best friend. Eventually, marriage became the institution it is today, where tradition and consumerism collide to create a moment of union between two people in love. De Beers making diamonds popular for weddings didn't really happen until 1938. Coming from the aristocracy of Europe, De Beers was wanting to make everyone a king and queen in their own dominion. So a tradition ensued in most Western European cultures to provide diamonds in their rings to prove undying love. Chocolate also married to love from early Mesopotamia. Upper middle class elites in the minds in Aztec cultures had to have chocolate, including Marie Antoinette, who made chocolate a sought-after cuisine and health food later on. It wasn't until Richard Cadbury, the originator of Cadbury chocolatiers, wanted to sell hard chocolate that he married Valentine's Day with heart-shaped boxes filled with his company's finest in 1861. Flowers, for centuries, have also paired with any romantic notion. Started by Charles II of Sweden in the 18th century, flowers have sent messages to loved ones and intentions and of what level of sentiments and admiration you have. From the deepest red rose to the love-me-not daisies, flowers and their scents have captured the romantic imaginations of the world. Romance has been evolving, and some would say devolving, but certainly something steered by the desires of women. In an online subscription newsletter, Verily, men describe how they want to be known as authentic instead of considered superficial or non-committing. They've mentioned ads, TV shows, and popular culture identifying them with looking for casual hookups. And really, I think young men are tired of that stereotype. I truly believe that if women encourage positive romanticism, men can be emboldened to respond with their true character of honesty and open endearments. I feel a return to proper dating etiquette will disarm the urgency to have sex and restore the need to bond by getting to know each other. Truly, this is up to women, changing the stereotypes and going deeper to recover the real truth about romance. I believe this romantic notion about love is still one of the world's greatest gifts. While it has devolved in some ways over the last century, there is new evidence that romance is on the upswing. Perhaps with a more open dialogue between men and women, new healthy boundaries can be formed. This will bring about more endearing and long-lasting relationships that will strengthen not only our communities, but improve our values worldwide. Raising children and families that stay together and teach the importance of a loving relationship will bring more compassion and love to our world. Thank you for coming to Future Life, where I am your guide to the love you've always been meant to have. Oceans of love.